All right, we are live, so maybe give it a minute, but we're live.
Being as it's 4:45, I'd like to call the July Park and Rec meeting to order. Any changes to the agenda?
Nope.
I look for a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And has been adopted. Public input? Guess there's nobody here for that, huh?
Nope.
Okay, and then the next will be the approval location agreement with the Wolf River Art League. They were at the planning commission meeting and they want to do this. Chad's got, I'll let you take it in, Chad. He's got a bunch of pictures of the paintings they want to put up.
Yep. So let me share this on our Zoom thing here. So like Bob said, the Wolf River Art League is looking at adding additional murals in the city. They are required to come to the planning commission to have every mural approved by the planning commission because it's in the ordinance that way. However, and they approved them all for the most part. However, the ones that are on city buildings has to be approved by the Park and Rec Committee because that's on the city building itself. So they have to jump through two hoops in that aspect. So we're going to run through the pictures, and most of these are for other buildings, and I'll just kind of fly through them. But we'll stop at the ones that are on city buildings just so the committee itself can approve those. So I'm just going to kind of fly through. These are some of the ones that they're looking at putting on other buildings that the planning commission approved. Here would be our first one that this committee would approve. They're looking on the east side of the Franklin Park building, and they're just looking at doing a small mural. This would be an attached mural on a board, not painted directly on the brick. So that would be the first one for consideration. I think if you guys are good with them all, we'll just bless them all in one reading, I guess, or one motion. Now, this one, they're proposing to put on the river wall itself, and it's more of an abstract piece. What I need to do yet is first of all contact the DNR to see if they're going to have any issues with having a painted mural on a river wall that touches the river water. I don't know what their thoughts are going to be with that. If there's a special type of paint that they would require for something like that, but this would be another one that the committee would have to approve to do some type of abstract mural along the river wall. And the thought process is that abstract art would kind of bounce off the river and double itself as the river, as it would bounce off the river. I think the tricky thing with this one is just with the river fluctuating it up, down, just number one for them to paint it. But number two, how would that maintain? It's different that's on a building and Mother Nature just hitting it, but when you have the constant water hitting it, is that going to really tear away at that paint? I don't know that answer. So
How would they put it on to begin with?
That's what I was
you'd have to be in
wondering.
a boat. I mean, you'd have to wait till the river was to the right point, and it's not like you're putting scaffolding in the
That
river.
probably
to
would
do
wear
that.
off though, Chad, like you say.
What's that?
That would wear off over.
Yeah. So this is the one that's kind of.
You think?
I think at this one, maybe we wait on this one as a committee. Just let's see what the DNR has to say first. That might be, they might say yay or nay on that one and tie our hands, I guess. Here's another one. They want to do some abstract flower type thing on the bottom here. This is not our building, but this would be a similar situation if the DNR would have any considerations on that. This one would be one of ours. So Hatton Park on the back side of the tennis courts, we have these practice boards. So if an individual goes up, they can just practice hitting a ball against a piece of wood. They're looking at putting these type of murals on the back of these 3 boards that are currently at Hatton Park.
Those are on boards also?
Pardon?
Those are on boards also?
No, these would be painted right
That would
on,
be on the building. Okay,
painted on those wooden structures already.
okay.
And that was it.
They have that one on there where they had the picture where the air conditioners were.
Oh, these 2?
Yeah, and yeah, that one right there. That's one of the air conditioners.
So
Looks like windows of a van.
Cool.
they would use these, yeah. So that would be the 2 pictures of the windows of the van.
Yeah, that
Kinda
one.
creative.
I thought really unique looking there. Hides the air conditioners.
Yeah. Gee.
So, so I guess those are the murals that we're looking at asking the committee for approval on additional city facilities or city-owned structures. I guess my recommendation would be to approve the Franklin Park and the Hatton tennis court ones. But I think I would wait on the Riverwall ones at this point in time, just because I want to see what the DNR has to say.
I'll make that motion.
Second. We have the motion made and seconded to allow the Wolf River Art League to paint murals on the city-owned buildings. All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, I guess we get to introduce our new video producer now, huh?
Yeah, I'm excited to introduce Casey Zempel, who is taking over for Richard Johnson. Casey is our new video producer, and he started yesterday. He came back for day 2, so we were happy about that. So we didn't scare him away on the second day. But Casey and I have been talking quite a bit the last 2 days about where we would like to see the video and the cable service go, and what options we have. And I'm excited to see, with Casey's talent and just things we've been bouncing off back and forth, where we're going to go with things. So I don't know, Casey, if you got to talk, you got to be in a microphone. So I don't know if you want to come up in the corner here and just, you can sit down over by Dave here, and maybe just introduce yourself a little bit and
Yeah.
who you are and where we're going with things.
Yeah. My name is Casey Zempel. I was born in Clintonville. My
And we hired him
family-
in spite of that.
Yeah, I know. He said that too. He almost disqualified me for the initial interview. But I was raised in Clintonville, lived in Wisconsin pretty much my whole life, with the exception of 4 years. Went out to Minnesota for school and stuff like that. We're just looking forward to getting going and bringing the services that we have to offer for the city of New London kind of to the next level. And I know I've got some big shoes to fill with Dick retiring and stuff, but I think I can do it. And I appreciate being here. It's I love this town, and I've lived just outside of Royalton for the last 7 years. So New London's kind of my go-to, and I'm happy to be here and happy to serve the community.
Maybe what's your last 15 years in your job and where you were?
Oh
at
yeah,
then?
I was on a radio station called Big Cheese 1079 for the last 15 years. That's what I did, and I kind of fell out of love with radio and into video about 10 years ago, and I started picking that up, and pretty soon I started doing more video than I was doing radio, and I love doing video, and I'm gonna do it for the city of New London now. So
You got some drones too, huh?
yeah,
Yeah.
for
Nice.
sure.
Nice segue. So we'll go with that in a second.
What was the segue?
Bob brought up a nice segue here, so just hold on to that for a second. But Casey and I have been talking, and what Casey's talent is and where we want to go with things is really take it to the next level. So the first task that I've given Casey is to really look at our equipment, because when Richard was here in the last 5-6 years, we really haven't upgraded the equipment. He was satisfied with what we had, and I didn't feel it was proper at that point in time to have Richard Johnson look at researching all that equipment for a new person. And maybe the new person obviously has different tastes and interests and backgrounds of what technology or things that the new person was going to have. So Richard, we didn't really look at upgrading things. So the cable budget does have, we've been saving money in the cable budget for the opportunity for our new cable or video producer to come in and really look at those upgrades. So Casey's first job is going to be looking at the equipment, what needs to be upgraded. A lot of it is way old. Our servers, what we figured out was 11 years old. I mean, when's the last time you worked on an 11-year-old computer? I mean, we've
Yeah.
definitely got our money's worth out of that. And I mean, we've got 1980s, those big honking cameras we're using in here for the council meetings, and we're really excited to take it to the next step. So, and one other point I wanted to make with Casey, the interview process we had, I think I mentioned this before, I was floored by the talent we had coming in for this position. We had people from other states apply for this job. We had someone from another country apply for this job, and a lot of people with big, big talent. And so Casey rose to the top with all that based on what his talent, what we saw in his talent in his videos and things, and then also his communication. I mean, he was on the radio for how many years, and he's got a radio voice. I don't know if you catch that from him. He's got an awesome voice. So being able to communicate and interview people was obviously going to be very important when he talks to businesses and talks to people about different things. And I think we've got an opportunity to, and we've talked about it, we had the Bill Ziner come in and start doing those videos.
Yep.
I think we can do some of that stuff in case
in-house
all
with-
aboard doing some of that stuff in-house. So I'm really excited to take the marketing piece for what we can do and really market New London, market what we offer for services to the community and get more information about what we do, how we do it. Market New London for people who live here. So how many people come up to you and say they don't know what the services we provide or what we do? Great opportunity to start marketing that as well. And then also spread that out for, people in different cities to come visit and live here. So, I mean, I'm excited. I hope I'm not putting you on too big of a pedestal and
Oh,
but yeah, it's gonna be really exciting. With that segue with the drone, Casey is a certified drone operator. There's a commercial license you got to have to do it commercially. He's got that already. So that was one other thing that brought him to the top. Casey was playing around yesterday and he sent this to me this morning. I'm going to see if I can share this to everybody else at YouTube. Hopefully this works.
Checking up on you now, Bob.
But Casey threw his drone up. He's got a personal drone and he threw it up in the air on New London.
Wow.
And I would like to get a drone someday, not only for our stuff, but the police department could use it too. But look in the quality of the picture and what we could do. I'm excited.
Like the St. Patrick's Day Parade
Exactly.
and all that, the other stuff.
Oh,
like
that'd be
that, I
great,
mean,
yeah.
For sure.
Providing that
Especially-
abides by our ordinance, because we do have ordinances set up for special events and drones. We
Oh,
just
yeah.
gotta make sure we're doing that right. But I mean, look at the downtown and how cool that with the old city hall building and
Yeah.
the dock there and everything.
Sounds like the thunder in the background.
Yeah. I would have got more, but the rain was coming quick. So.
So, like I said,
Very nice.
I'm really excited with Casey's talents. The plan is, we're gonna be looking at, and Casey's gonna be kind of looking at all our equipment, coming up with a game plan, our needs and our wish list. Not only, looking at broadcasting in this room for council meetings and even committee meetings, what we're gonna talk about next, but also looking in the back for, upgrading equipment. And we plan on bringing a plan to you guys next month, because we want to start making a proposal to purchase that equipment out of the cable fund, which has been building up. So we'll kind of bring that to you next month just kind of want to give you a heads up on that. But that'll be our kind of Casey's first task
Yeah.
to look at all that and go from there. So I don't know, any questions for Casey? And
That's money that's in the budget for this year.
see, the cable fund, I don't know if you're aware of how that works, but the cable fund is, the revenue from that comes from the franchise fees from
Okay.
Spectrum Charter.
Okay,
So, and that specifically goes in that cable fund, and for years, it's only been going towards the cable program.
Okay.
So since we haven't been tapping into that lately for improvements, technology improvements, that fund has been building,
Okay.
which we're in a really good position right now to look at these improvements and pay out of that fund. And that's what that fund is for, to help pay
Okay.
for these improvements. So it's not funded out of the tax dollars, it's paid through those franchise fees that we collect from the Charter and Spectrum and things like that. So,
And will you be available for our economic development meeting next month?
we
This
can,
month?
if you want to bring them to that.
I
and-
would love to have them there. We're bringing Bill in Zinert.
Ah,
And I'd love to have Casey sit in on that discussion.
Cool.
As the issue is what we're going to do with Bill.
Mhm.
Hopefully Casey can pretty much pick most of that up. Because then we can, like you just talked about, keep it tailored the way we want it in-house
Mhm.
and keep it updated. Some of those videos that if you go out to Facebook and so forth, still show Hanky as the mayor and still show Laurie Shaw as the chamber director and so forth. Well, that stuff should all be updated, current and so forth. So we're going to have, we're going to show these videos out on Facebook. Let's keep them current.
so, and I think there's 2 points to that, and maybe Casey can elaborate that on a little bit. There's making the videos,
Yep.
but then there's also the marketing piece. And I don't know if Casey, if you're familiar with how that works with marketing towards special regions, or I don't know how that works a part
You
of
got like
it.
a geofence where you can literally, on Google Maps, trace out an area. And we used to do it all the time in the radio industry with like hiring. So if we were hiring for nurses, we would target the other hospital in town. We draw a geographical boundary around them.
Wow.
And then when the people were on their cell phones, on their lunch breaks and
Yep.
stuff like that, they would be solicited by these ads. And then once
Yep.
they left that geographical location, it would continue to kind of bombard their phones with, hey, come work for us. We know you're unhappy there, or, that sort of a thing. So I imagine we could do something similar, very similar with,
Yep.
on kind of a citywide level.
See, that's expertise that Bill Ziner brought to the economic development.
Might be a big
He
help
did
with
for
the
us,
development over there.
But,
With him, with the drones and that, taking pictures of the area, the river area, the walking stuff over there. Big boost, I would say.
our purchasing through Bill, the pricing wasn't bad on that, but his video production prices were quite high.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
either way, in any capacity, it's just a very welcome sight to see you here and
Yeah.
nice to meet you.
And some of the best ideas, I mean, you already seem like you're throwing them out, Bob. Any ideas that you guys have, you see opportunity, let me know about it. I will be all over it.
We talked about taking things to the next step if we want to, I have to confirm this, but I believe one of the last times the state changed the cable franchising laws, I believe they changed it to allow the PEG channels or the municipally owned channels to actually basically sell commercials. And we could actually go to businesses and create videos and that's what you did with
Yeah.
the radio station.
Yeah, yep.
They would go out and create videos for a business. They would charge them for the video, but then that business could use it on their personal website or their Facebook page. So that might be another option for revenue to the cable fund.
And more importantly, I mean, we would give them a deal on the video,
Mhm.
but we would charge them kind of an ongoing thing to place the ads.
Yep.
So the money wasn't necessarily in the video. It was in what you did with the video once you created it, Get it in front of as many eyeballs as possible. And that's a service that we could also provide.
So just some quick ideas, what we've been kicking around for the last 2 days and where we want to go. So we'll define that a little bit better, but more than likely, maybe Casey will be bringing a request for a drone next month. But we've talked about that too, because the police department would like something like that as well. So, Tom, did you have a question?
Yeah, I was wondering if we could do anything with the sturgeon and use that to market the city and give them part of the year anyway.
Sure. As far as like videotaping them?
I don't know, that's your idea.
Yeah. I would say so. I mean,
You talking about the Sturgeon Trail? Is that what
Sturgeon.
Sturgeon rolling.
what's that?
When they're spawning.
Yes,
Tom?
the
Oh,
spawning.
the Sturgeon
They're
spawn. I mean,
spawning.
those are things that market the community. Those are things that really push out there. I mean, he could be videotaping that from last year, and then when it's coming around at that time, that's when you're throwing the Facebook ads out there, for the coming up week of doing it. So I got to go to New London and check this out. And then they're coming to our area, helping economic.
and target the
development.
areas in between,
That's what
like
I'm
what,
looking for.
Shiocton, they've got sturgeon, Clintonville, I think even does a little bit, and then Shawano. So, I mean, you could target, areas in between those areas where it's like, okay, if you're going to see the sturgeon, come here to see the sturgeon.
Right.
Exactly.
But like Tom says, if you actually had a shot of a surgeon this year, last night, rolling on the rock that we could put it out today, you know, and so forth.
Yep.
There's, I think Lori mentioned that there's a bunch of, she's got a list of people they contact as soon as the sturgeons start rolling. Well, it'd be super to send along,
Yeah.
you know, a video. Last night, you would have seen this.
Mhm.
So it's
Because
not-
people are always asking, when are
Yeah.
the surgeon rolling and stuff, you know?
Yep.
And then sometimes that's critical 1 or 2 days.
Yep.
So if you got somebody that can get it out there right away,
Exactly.
it's gonna be a big boost.
Yeah, in case he's gonna build up a stock video of things, just to have those videos, you know, for stuff as well. But next month we'll be bringing it back up again to talk about those
Okay.
technological improvements that we'd like to see to kind of, like the quality of that drone video. That's what we're looking at. I mean, that's good stuff, you know. But it's gonna take some time and kind of figure it out and start marketing the community.
Anybody got?
Welcome
anything?
aboard, Casey.
Hey, thank you.
That was the mayor, so.
Thank you, Mayor.
Anybody else got anything for Casey? Well, thanks, Casey.
Thank you, guys.
Sure.
All right.
And that might roll into item number 5. I don't know if you want to kind of
You're
stick
gonna-
around for that. You're not done.
You, what's that? I'm not done?
You're not done.
Oh,
today.
okay. I thought you were dismissing it. All right.
Broadcasting?
Yep. So we've talked about several times now, and a regular, you know, process or you know, whether the city wants to create a policy or create the process of regularly broadcasting our committee meetings. And we're doing it right now because of the COVID thing. We're doing it, you know, as we speak right now. But is that something we want to continue down the road on a permanent basis? So, I mean, the considerations are, you know, doing it live, you know, recording it and having broadcasts, you know, after the fact. That's going to be part of the considerations for the technology upgrades that we're going to be working on in this room to make it easy. So say, for example, a finance personnel meeting or a meeting that I wouldn't show up or Missy wouldn't show up normally. We would want to make it easy enough that Casey, myself, or Missy wouldn't have to be here, that someone, Judy could come up, hit a few buttons, hit record, and make it easy for everyone else to figure it out. So we will be looking at those technology upgrades. But for you guys, I mean, is that something you guys want to see down the long run? I mean, we've talked about this over and over, but we haven't come up with a definite answer whether you guys want to do that or not.
I would say yes. I think the more information get out there, the better. Otherwise, all they see is a council meeting. That's just, everybody's already talked about it, so they don't have any way to see how the decision was made.
Yeah, a lot of it, people think that you don't do anything at a council meeting because everything has already been done here. So
But they can't
that
see
would give
this.
them, right, that would give them a chance to see what actually is done.
You know, most stuff's actually on the committee
Right.
meetings, but one thing I'm concerned with, Chad, I got some information from the National Association of Counties in the last couple of days, plus Wisconsin County Association. And states, which I'm including Wisconsin, will be cutting down on shared revenue because there's a lot less there this year because of the COVID. We're gonna have to imagine have budget cuts. Is there gonna be any increased costs if we would broadcast the committee meeting?
I think number one would be the technology needed to do it, which shouldn't be too bad because we're going to want to upgrade this room anyway.
Mhm.
It would just be an additional consideration for that. And I would love to see this room set up if we do it right, you know, with different cameras in this room for the council meetings that we do already. But try to make it easy enough. I can see committee meetings doing a one camera deal, just like we're doing right now. You got one camera on the
Yeah.
committee. Whereas the council meetings, we do a little bit more of a cameras going around and, you know, highlighting the person talking. I don't see us doing that at committee meetings. So as long as we would stick with that, I don't see much for additional revenue, like not having to have additional people come to a meeting just for that aspect.
The council we would have, but for committee, no, because assuming we get the new equipment,
Mhm.
it'll just be a click of a couple buttons and
Yep.
we sit down and have our meeting.
That's how I would see it envisioned to propose it. Now, even the council meetings, we're looking at, instead of, you know, I know how we do it. I'm on one side, Ginger's on one side, and Richard was in the back
Yeah.
doing the flip thing with the cameras. With the new technology, we've been talking about it already. I envision cameras that have point and zoom technology in it, and one person, Casey, in the back, controlling all the cameras with a computer.
Ah.
So I don't even have to be up here, and Ginger doesn't even have to come to the council meetings anymore. So that's actually going to save a little bit, that Ginger can stay home and she wouldn't have to come into the meetings.
Ah.
So with the new technology, hopefully we can even reduce at council meetings what's going on.
You can handle all
I think so.
that?
This is going to be a continuing discussion.
Yeah.
Once he gets, say, settled into the position.
And I think you guys need to determine sooner or later, are you guys going to watch your committee meetings, broadcasted? I mean, it's not going to be that much more for us to figure out one more camera, like in this scenario, to try to capture you guys. But if it's something you guys want to do, we need to have that known to make that consideration.
Is it something that this committee is interested in?
Yeah, I
not?
definitely
I
think,
don't know, I don't know if we should make a motion for that now or not. Just discuss it.
Motion would be good because we're going to be working on researching right now for the
Right.
technology end of it. Now, do you guys think this has got to go to council for a full council blessing?
I think it should, but
it should,
I'm 100% in favor of this, and
You make
think
a
it's-
motion, I'll second it.
it's a responsibility to our constituents to be as open as we can.
Yep.
And I think we have the wonderful opportunity. We have a very talented person here that's joined us, and now's the time. I really, I would be very comfortable making a motion, and I will make the motion to
I'll second it.
record our committee meetings for the benefit of the public in the future.
Any more discussion on that? We got
I
a
did.
motion made, got a second?
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried.
We will forward that to the council for full approval.
Approval? Sure. I think that's all.
Or-
I think we don't need
That's it.
anything
You
else.
can stay, you can leave, whatever you want to do. It's
Oh,
up to you.
I'll hang out in the back, you do.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Looking forward to working with you.
Yeah, for your support. Thank you.
You want to give us an update on the boat launch ticket machines?
Working with the company on, the initial order has been placed, but I'm just working with them to configure the machines because there's all the, the display and what the display is going to say and what the tickets are going to be, how they're going to be printed. And we also got the setup for the custom skin, basically the sticker on how that's going to look. So I'm working with the company on all that. So that's all in process. So one thing I do want to let everybody know on, when you see we've gotten 2 ticket machines ordered. One is going to be at a lower height and one's going to be at a normal height. And the reason being is that the one at the lower height is ADA accessible for someone to roll up in a wheelchair. So we continually have to make ourselves accessible with everything. And that lower height one is going to be a little bit lower for a normal person. You have to crunch down a little bit to do the buttons, but the other one will be the normal height. So you can pick and choose if you have a problem. But so if someone comes up, why is that one so much lower? ADA accessibility. So that's what we have to do with that. But those are ordered and hopefully we get them sooner than later. And then
We'll have to get a hold of the utilities then to find out where would be the best place to put them.
correct. Jason was at one of our last staff meetings and I
Yeah.
mentioned it and he was like, yep, we got to talk about that. I'm hoping that we could run the power. The one location where I'm envisioning the one to go shouldn't be an issue to run easily powered to the open shelter down there because there is power there. The other one I would put in between the east and the middle bay. That one we're gonna have to either dig out some concrete or dig out some asphalt to get to there. Jason offered to just connect it to a light pole that's there, but I think there's gonna be an extra meter charge for that. So I'd rather get to the 1 meter that we have down there, so we're not paying a monthly meter charge for a second meter down there.
Sure.
So we're working on that as well.
Will you have a camera or something then, in case somebody breaks into these things that we would capture that on?
Not yet, but that's phase 2. So I got to put that
Okay.
plan together and I would, either I would recommend that we would put standard cameras up there that we put around that you see in the other parks. Or B, which would be more expensive, and I don't know if we need those there. member Chief is working with New London Utilities on some of those cameras that are built into the light posts. I don't know if we got to necessarily do that route. It'd be a little bit more expensive to do that, but I will be coming up sometime in the future. We need to put cameras down there just so someone doesn't back it over with their pickup truck and take off. We're gonna have bollards there to protect them, but we just don't want people screwing around with them. I'd rather have cameras down there watching that stuff.
Yeah, there's been some talk.
Go ahead, Mark.
Mark?
Chad, you remember that Chief has that grant to add more cameras to the city. Do you know where he's going to put all them?
We've been working together on that, and one may go on the east side of the city property there. The first step was, and they do have the trial one, and they're testing that one to make sure it works. So I know Keith from PC Cell Solutions is working with New London Utilities to make sure that camera is going to work in our system. I haven't heard from them yet if that's confirmed, but once that's confirmed, then Chief, New London Utilities, and Keith will be sitting down and coming up with a game plan for where all those cameras are going. Because the Capital Projects Committee meeting, I think they approved 20 grand for Chief to do that. I don't remember the dollar amount, but there was a dollar amount that Chief did request and the Capital Projects Committee did approve for the first phase of that. And Chief's going to be working with all of us to, some of those might go in a corner where we hit a intersection, but it might, like Franklin Park, it might clip part of Franklin Park there too. But
I just thought we could piggyback off of that to overlook the ticket machines.
correct. One of them might go on the western edge of the city there by the park, but that's all to be determined yet.
Yeah, and that's boat launch fund money, so we have to be careful
Mhm.
how we spend that, because it can only be spent for the boat launch. So if we would piggyback with the cameras, we'd have to be careful how we did it. I'm thinking that anyway.
And that's a great point because it's for the boat launch, you can use the money that's in the boat launch fund for that. So you wouldn't have to be the tax dollar,
Right.
the general fund.
Right,
Basically.
that's what I'm saying, we have to be careful how you do it, but if
Yep.
that's a
But there's a
plus there.
plus there to
Yeah.
fund those cameras out of that boat launch fund. Yep.
There is one that points that way right now on the south side of the road that kind of covers one at, it more or less covers the east boat pier or the boat, from,
Sewage treatment plant, isn't it?
yeah, it's kind of designed to protect city sheds and the treatment plant, but I think if anybody messed with anything, there's probably some good coverage there right now.
You would be able to kind of see what happens, because I know during the storm, I've looked at that camera a couple times. The distance back, catching the license plate numbers is a little far. So that camera is hard to catch a license plate, because there was a situation where I was on there looking and I couldn't catch a license plate. So I wouldn't mind seeing another camera or another 2 cameras in there for that. But you can definitely see generally what happens there.
Yeah, we have 5 of them at the shop, and my wife, if there ever was a question, she's pretty good with that stuff. And I mean, she gets alarms at home and she can see everything from anywhere she's at. It's pretty neat, the technology nowadays, but I think we should definitely protect our assets there once we get those nice machines in there.
Mike,
Right now, we have one camera, but we have problems with it. The one that utility bought.
Okay, I haven't heard an update on this yet, so.
Well, I was at a meeting this morning.
Yep.
Basically, they ordered a camera, a light with a camera in it. The way it looks, that was not a brand new unit because it had a password in it that we couldn't set it up. So this is not a real quick solution there. You've got to talk to that company and straighten out. If they're not going to give us brand new ones, we're not going to order 20 more.
Ah, okay, I haven't heard that yet.
Well, like I say, I was a utility board this morning. So that came up this morning at our meeting. That there was a little bit of a problem with the one that we got. So
And that's why they wanted to test
Jason
one.
is working on it, and I I think it'll get solved, but it may take a little time till everything gets straightened out.
But you got any other questions about the boat launch cameras? You want to go to the styling?
Yep.
You know something about that?
We talked about the Styling Shelter, which this was the Styling Shelter for the brothers that passed away. The family fundraised for getting a shelter, and as you guys know, the shelter was purchased. It's down. The kit is down at the city garage right now, and when we have a project like this, I try to push the donors so they are responsible for the installation. And one of the reasons for that is just if something's damaged, then it's not city staff paying for repairs for a damage type thing. But in this situation, it's been 3 years. The family they're not finding success in getting a contractor to donate any time to install the shelter. And it just keeps on sitting down at the city garage. So finally it was to the point where, we want to see the shelter up. People are asking, why is the shelter not up yet? So I said, okay, I mean, we'll look at our staff putting it up this fall in between our projects. So we'll look at getting it up because we want to see it up. I mean, it's a city's asset that are just sitting there down collecting dust at the city garage. So we'll look at installing that with city labor right now. The guys in the next couple of weeks, we're going to look at drilling the posts for the concrete footings and getting it going. And if you guys remember, originally we were talking about putting it at River Trail Park, but then the concept and the family wanted to change and put it where the old city garage was, to try to start to maybe developing that area down there a little bit and getting some more.
Where's this?
It's going to go where the old city garage was,
Oh, there, okay.
just
That'd
to
be a
the
great spot.
west of the waters there.
Yeah.
So the concrete and everything is still being funded by the family. So all the materials are still being funded by the family, but we'll look at installing it ourselves this fall. So.
That'd be a great area because we were looking at possibly putting some docks down there. Not a boat launch, but docks to park their boats. So guys, in the spring when it gets pretty busy, the one guy could drop the boat off, the other guy could take the truck and go around and park when the overflow parking down where the old garage was, and then the other guy could come down and pick him up.
Yep.
So if you had that shelter in this area here, it's nothing but going to help, enhance the area.
And I think what we do is, once we get this ticket machines up and running, we wait a couple of years and see how much more revenue and build up the boat launch fund, because that additional parking area where the old city garage was would be a benefit to the boat launch. So we could tap into the funding for the boat launch, help pay for those improvements there at the old city garage site. So, and we're hopefully anticipating more revenue once those ticket machines go in to kind of get rid of the cheaters.
Well, you get the cameras down there to catch the guys that drop their boats off and drive away with their trailer.
30%.
Yep, I bet.
So there's some of that done where a lady drives down the truck, drops the boat off, he leaves, and she drives away with the truck. So they're not parked in the parking lot, so they don't have to pay for a parking ticket.
I admire their creativeness and
Yeah.
There's a way to do
drive
something.
away like they got away with murder.
Hey, that's
And last on the director's report, July is National Parks and Recreation Month. It's a weird year with COVID and everything, so, but I just want to make sure that since this is the Parks and Rec Committee, obviously you guys are the ones to really promote and recognize all our staff for what they do for Parks and Recreation in the city. Not all communities have Parks and Rec departments, and those are things that bring people to the community, and that's why people want to live in a community. So it's obviously a good month to promote what our staff does and what the contribution and the support that the city council and this committee has for Parks and Recreation. So it's all a good thing, and it's a good time of year just to kind of recognize it and go from there. So the last thing I got is I just want to recognize our service anniversaries. Reed Feber, our pool manager, his second year of service with the city as of June 4th. That's all I got.
Everybody look at their revenue reports? Michelle sent those out. Anybody got any questions on any of them? Anybody got any committee reports? Anybody's got anything they want to talk about? Next month's agenda items? Not yet, huh?
Something will come up. Well, we'll talk about, we'll probably come back with some funding requests for the cable fund for the
Yep.
equipment. So we'll talk about
New
that.
equipment.
If anybody thinks of anything in the meantime, give Chad or myself a call and we get it on the agenda for next month.
We know where to find it.
Guess that's all we got. I think we could,
Move to adjourn then.
Move to adjourn.
second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned.